Radical Islam. Can you define for me Nazi, moderate Nazi, or radical Nazi? I'll listen for your answer on the radio.
All right, thank you, Eric.
I do not agree with the concept there is radical Islam and moderate Islam. Islam is Islam, and I look to that great Somali woman who has been threatened with death, Hirsi Ali, who said, if Islam is reformed, it is no longer Islam. The dictates of Islam are written in its holy books, the Quran, the Hadith, and the biographies of Muhammad, and it stipulates there that if you want to be a true believer, you have to follow what's written in these books, because they are the immutable words of Muhammad and the words directly from Allah. You are correct. There was no moderate Nazism, radical Nazism. There was just degrees of severity in the tyranny they implied or imparted on the public. And we see that too, because Islamic Republic of Iran is killing Americans for years with IEDs, and the Islamic State is killing Americans by beheading them and filming them on videotape. So it's the degrees of the tyranny, but there is no difference. So that was a very good question.
Okay, let me follow up on that question, though, Dr. Carroll. You do get people who believe they're Muslim, they go to mosque, but they just want to live their lives in peace. They want to work and raise their children. They're not part of any type of violence directed at anybody else. So what do you say about them? Are they not Muslim?
Okay, and you were talking about who these people are. They are Muslim. In their minds, they believe Muslim. But where are they? They are in the United States. Some of them may be in Western Europe. Why are they in the United States and Western Europe? Because they can't believe and do these things to the degree they like in their own homelands. Because if they don't go to mosques, they're going to be chastised. And if they want to dress Western as the women do, they will be punished. So what do you say to them? God bless, you can have your secular, but we need you, these kinds of people, these Muslims, these mostly secular type Muslims, cultural, secular, and yes, they go and they pray. But we need them to stand up to the overwhelming number. I have said on these broadcasts, 20%. That's at least 300 million, and I'm prepared to revise that number because ISIS, ISIL, or the Islamic State, whichever name you want to use it, has been gaining recruits all over the world, including the United States. The secular, cultural, quote-unquote moderate, let's use that term for a minute, Muslims need to stand up and say, not in our name, beheadings, stonings, teaching children. They just released a video. They had a 12-year-old boy, and he performed the beheading. These things are not in our name. And we've had President El-Sisi of Egypt, and he has called for Muslims internally to sit and meet and decide how do we, shall I use the word fix, adjust, adapt. You want to use a Western term, reform? I doubt that will happen. But how can we do this? Because what's going on now with a full head of steam is pure Islam, 7th century Islam.
Okay, thanks for that call. Let's go to Joel from Phoenix. You're on the air.
Doctor, for 1,500 years, the Muslims have been at war with the West. How can Obama be so naive to think that whatever he does to placate them will help? They want their initial thing to happen, and they want to win. Thank you, sir.
Joel, he's not naive. I told you he's not naive. He, like them, they have an ideology. They have an Islamic supremacist ideology, an Islamo-fascist ideology. He has an ideology. His ideology is America is not unique. America is one of many. America really deserves to be punished because he and others like him believe we have been the most warlike, dominant country in the world. He doesn't know our own history or ignores it. Because of all the great powers in the world, we have been most beneficent. I'm not saying we didn't do things wrong. We did. But where did you have, show me one other world leader that ever did a Marshall Plan? Never happened. We just bailed everybody out and put them back to work, or the whole continent would have fallen prey to communism. He's not naive. This is his world view. He has an agenda. What's his agenda? From day one, cozy up to Iran, dump everybody else. Abandon Israel, put daylight, and then he fools, especially a lot of Jewish organizations, he fools. We'll have daylight, but in security matters we'll be close. You can't be both ways. He doesn't care. If he can set into motion the destruction of Israel, especially after he leaves office, he will have accomplished one of his goals. His goal, he wants to not only close Guantanamo, he wants to give it back to Cuba because he views it as an imperialistic gain. So he negotiates with Cuba, gives them everything they want. What did he get in return? Nothing. He negotiates with Iran. He gave them everything they wanted, and they kept adding to the list right down to the wire. Ballistic missiles, no ban. Regular arms sales, no ban. Has nothing to do with nuclear weapons. He gave them everything. What did he get from them? A piece of paper? Hello. He may have been a teacher of the U.S. Constitution, and one wonders how well, but he certainly wasn't a student of the entire history of the United States. I'm not talking about the abridged leftist version of U.S. history.